What are we doing? What are we doing with Chloe Bibby? What is the point? Why? Why did we waste the roster spot on Chloe Bibby? Like, we need a wing. Why did we waste a roster spot on Chloe Bibby? And I'm not saying Chloe Bibby doesn't deserve to be in the WNBA, but I actually think she's shown enough that she does. And she showed enough at Golden State, and she showed enough here. Why did we waste a roster spot on her? This is Stephanie White talking about Chloe Bibby. And by the way, Chloe Bibby, in the game prior to this, had 11 points on 5 shots.
Were there thoughts maybe plugging her in to try and spark the offense a little bit, or what was the decision behind not playing her tonight?
Yeah, there were some thoughts. I think that it matched up defensively more than anything with the way that we were going to try to play them, or in some of our switches and things like that. So that was mostly the reason.
This is the Washington Mystics. This isn't some like unbelievable organization. This isn't some like team that's going to really punish you. Okay, yeah, coming off switches. What's the worst case scenario? She switches on to Shug Sutton. This is not like switching on to Paige Bueckers. And the Indiana Fever lost because we couldn't score. We didn't lose because we couldn't get stops. We lost because we couldn't score. Like, the team needed offense more than they need defense. The Fever are not going to be a good defensive team. The only way you're going to win games by outscoring other teams. So why are you taking off a scorer? And I understand, like, you don't want to play her at the 3. But then why did you sign her? We already have 17 forwards and centers. Why did you sign her if you had no intention of playing her? And you're like, oh, everyone's like, oh, defense. But it's like, look, she's getting cooked on defense. She was minus 15. It's like, well, yeah, it's not her fault. She was on with a lineup with her, Bree Turner, who, no offense, can block shots, but she can't guard threes. It was like her, Bree Turner, Dantas, Kelsey Mitchell, and I think it was Sophie. And I'm like, that is Kelsey Mitchell and 4 of the slowest players at their given positions. Considering Sophie's playing point guard. It is the slowest technically point guard in the league. With Dantas, who's the slowest center in the league since Tiara McCowan is gone. With Bree Turner, who's the slowest power forward. And then small forward Chloe Bibby's the slowest small forward. Like, Chloe Bibby's guarding JJ Quinterly. That's an issue. That's an issue if Chloe Bibby's guarding JJ Quinterly. I understand. If Chloe Bibby is guarding someone like JJ, okay, then we start to think. What do we do about this? Do we put Chloe on? Do we take her out? Not when you're playing the Mystics. Not when you're playing the Mystics, who for decent chunks of that game were playing Madison Scott. Her matchup was Madison Scott a lot of that game. And people are like, oh, we're switching everything. I'm sorry, she's no worse at switching onto guards than Aaliyah Boston. She's definitely better at switching onto guards than Damiris Dantas. You had no problem with putting those players out and switching onto guards with the switching defense. You switched all for about a quarter and a half and then just stopped, even though it was working. You built up a 13-point lead switching all and then just said, nah. Because, I'm sorry, I'm fully convinced. I've seen coaches, I kid you not, that they go into a game with a game plan and they basically have their rotations on a spreadsheet before the game starts. And it doesn't matter how the game is going. It does not matter how the game is going. That is what's going to happen. We have seen Michaela Timpson against the New York Liberty. They played the Liberty twice. The first time they played the Liberty, they got destroyed. The only bright spot was Michaela Timpson. She was the only player in the second half that looked to be aggressive. She was the only bright spot. The next game, she doesn't play. And now we're seeing it with Chloe Bibby. Chloe Bibby was the only bright spot on calamitously bad lineups. Like, I'm sorry, I said it. Stephanie White is throwing the game against the Wings. I've said it. I thought Stephanie White was throwing that game. I thought Stephanie White, and by throwing the game, I didn't think she tried to lose. I think she was putting out she was Chuck Dalying the dream team against the college kids. She was putting out lineups that were never going to play together again. She was just trying stuff. She was like benching players when they shouldn't have been benched as like, maybe the players weren't listening to exactly what she did. So she basically made it as hard as possible for them to win the game. Didn't call a time at the end. Stephanie White made it as hard as possible for them to win that Dallas Wings game. Either it's by design or she's incompetent. Like, that's just my opinion. Like, again, I'm not saying anything as fact. I can't read her mind. That's just my opinion on it. And the only bright spots in a lot of really, really, really bad lineups, like 4 bench players and Sophie. Like, that lineup can't be in the game. But it was 4 bench players and Sophie at times. It was like, there was a lineup where it was like Odyssey Sims. And it was Odyssey Sims, Sophie, Chloe Bibby, Dantas, and KK was in. And I'm like, that team got killed. Rightfully so. But the only bright spot was Chloe Bibby, and she doesn't get on. She doesn't get on again because, oh, look at the plus minus, look at this. There is no way that you came out of that Dallas Wings game and blamed Chloe Bibby, who was the only bright spot in the worst lineups we ever put out on the floor. But, yeah. Tell me you play off the other coach's actions instead of forcing the other coach to do what you like. No wonder she's losing because she's reactionary instead of dictating the game plan. I think it's actually the opposite. Can't say that and add Dantas in. I actually agree. You can play Natasha Howard at the 5. Bibby at the 4. You get a lot more speed than Howard at the 4 and Dantas at the 5. Like, we were coming up against Kiki Iriafen center for a lot of the game. Like, it's not like they were big. It was power forward with Kiki Iriafen, who, let's be real, she's going to be a center. But we've got power forward Kiki Iriafen, Emily Engsler, who's 6'1". Chloe Bibby can match up to Emily Engsler. Chloe Bibby can switch onto Lucy Olsen. Chloe Bibby can switch onto Shug Sutton. Chloe Bibby can switch on to Sonia Citron. I don't think Sonia Citron's quick enough to burn Chloe Bibby. And in fairness to Chloe Bibby, she's slow. She's not. It's not for a lack of trying on the defensive end. There's no lack of effort. Like, there are bad defenders sometimes that you just see and you're like, there's no effort there. It's not for, with Chloe Bibby, it's not for a lack of effort. It literally just comes down to her foot speed. And this was a Washington team that didn't have Brittany Sykes. Sutton's not that fast. And if she is, she's not that good at going to the basket. Citron's not that fast. Lucy Olsen's not that fast. Jade Melbourne likes to go downhill. She's not that fast. Like, Madison Scott literally played her first WNBA game yesterday. And we're benching Chloe Bibby. And if we're going to do this, and this is like the 4th or 5th time Chloe's barely played, why did we sign her for the season? If you wanted switchability, why did we not sign athletic wing? As we saw yesterday, Madison Scott's available. Why did we not sign Madison Scott? Why did we not look? There are so many athletic wings out there. There are so many. There are so many of those players that kind of got cut in training camps and got cut from college the last couple of years. There are so many switchable 6'1", 6'2", 3'4" that can't really shoot. Those players exist, and that's clearly what Stephanie White wants. There's a lot of those players out there. Why did we choose somebody who is a pure spot-up shooter and then bench her because she can't miss spot-up jump shots because she's not a good defender, which is not meant to be a good defender? Like, the Mystics aren't big, they aren't fast. Is the exact game you play her in. I agree. Like, I think there are games, and by the way, anyone saying, oh, she can't play against certain teams. Did you see the minutes that she played against the Mercury when we beat the Mercury? And when we lost to the Mercury, she got benched for the game? Come on. We've seen her against good teams kill it. We've seen her against good teams do really, really well. And then suddenly, as soon as Steph White loses trust in you, I don't know when Steph White lost trust in Chloe Bibby. She didn't play enough minutes after we signed her full time. But it seems like Steph White had trust in her when she was a 7-day player. And as soon as we signed her for the season, she didn't play more than 10 minutes for like 4 consecutive games. So anyway, yeah, that's the video. Weird one. But anyway, see you guys.